Okay, so this is a brand new GMC Denali Ultimate. It's a very high-end truck. I'm not exactly sure what the color is called, but it's a dark gray metallic. Anyway, the owner was referred to me and asked me if I'd take a look at it, and I did. And luckily for us, it was sunny outside. And so the first thing I noticed was there were holograms on the side of both beds. Now, look, I use rotary polishers with wool pads all the time. Nothing wrong with them. Just don't finish with them because it leaves holograms. So that's the first thing I noticed. Then the owner actually started pointing out high spots, which were a little harder to see because the sun was overhead and not shining on the side of the car. But that's where a swirl finder light comes in. There's high spots everywhere on this thing. So that means whoever put the coating on at the dealership, they probably didn't own a good light like this, or they were in a hurry. But for some reason, there's high spots everywhere.
Or a combination of both.
The taillights are completely filled full of swirls and scratches. And see, the interesting thing to me about that is the paint surrounding them, although there are holograms and high spots, you know, whatever you would do to put scratches into here, you probably would have done here and here and there, but it's not like that. But both taillights were totally trashed. And let's see, the other things I think I found wrong with this car, that's primarily it. Then just some random, what we call RIDs. Random, isolated, deeper scratches is what RIDs stands for. And there was a number of those back here in the tailgate and just random places, and I took all those out with the rotary, then finish up with an orbital with a foam pad. But anyway, these are the things that, you know, upon buying this brand new truck and getting home, usually you'd be really excited. Wow, look at my new truck. And then you're looking at it and going, it needs to be detailed.
Oh, look at my new truck.
And it's brand new. So in this class, we're going to talk about how we're going to fix these things, you know, remove high spots, remove holograms, and then how to protect the paint moving forward. But also, we want to talk about some things that you should do if you're going to be that person that's going to go down and buy a brand new car or order a brand new car to be delivered, you know, assembled and delivered. And the first thing you want to do, though, is you want to talk to your sales rep or the service manager, and you want to let them know that when that car arrives, do not wash it. Do not detail it. Do not wash it. Do not touch it.
Don't give me the courtesy wipe down.
Yeah. A lot of the larger dealerships, they got what we call a swirl-o-matic car wash, an automatic car wash with the spinning brushes or the soft mops or the spinning mops. They put scratches in the paint. And if, you know, look, if you got a ceramic coating on your car, they're going to scratch through the coating and scratch the paint. So you just really don't want them to wash your car. That's the first thing. You know, I know that their heart is in the right place. You know, it's a noble idea. Hey, Yancey's coming down to pick up his brand new Charger. You guys get that thing washed up. But it'd really be better if they didn't wash it and you take control of the wash process. And then, of course, wash it carefully by hand to avoid swirls and scratches. And the thing about this is, you know, you really have to stress this to these people, because here's why. At most new car dealerships, it's what they call a knee-jerk reaction. You know, it's like when a doctor taps you with the rubber hammer in your knee and your leg kicks out. I don't know if anybody's ever done that in a doctor's office. They haven't done that to me for years, but as a kid, they would tap your knee and it would kick out. It's called a knee-jerk response. Well, the knee-jerk response at a dealership is new car, wash it. You bring your car in for service, they wash it. They just wash it no matter what. So you really have to look the person in the eye and go, look, do not wash my car. And companies like Dr. Beasley's, we actually have hang tags you can get, and it says right on there, do not wash. And it's just important to stress this, because otherwise you're going to wash it. And years ago, I detailed this gentleman's brand new black Mercedes-Benz and ceramic coated it. A couple months later, I'm looking at it and it's all scratched up. And I would go, what'd you do? It goes, well, I took it in to have the oil changed. Well, they washed it for him and they undid all my hard work with one wash job.
So nice of the dealership to do that.
And it is important. And also, you know, there's two things that happen when work is done incorrectly. For example, whatever was going on with the side of this truck bed that they felt compelled to buff it and leave holograms in there, that process took off paint. For me to come back and fix it is going to take off a little paint. And we all know that the factory clear coat is super thin to start with. So all this is really just wasted paint, because it didn't have to be like that. The dealership, instead of handing their guys cheap, you know, this isn't a cheap rotary, but going down to Harbor Freight and buying a cheap rotary and telling people to detail cars with it, you know, get an orbital polisher. You can do much of the same work with an orbital and not put the holograms in.
Agreed.
So that's the first thing. You want to talk to them and let them know when the car arrives, do not wash it. The next thing is you want to inspect the car when it arrives. And here are some of the top 10 things that you want to look for. So one is scratches in the paint. Now, probably a lot of people buying a new car don't have a little tool like this. This one I think Lake Country actually calls it the handheld light. But in the industry, we call it a swirl finder light. If you don't have one of these, this is $100 retail. When you go down to look at your new car, it's really hard to see what's going on. You need the light so you can inspect it and really
I can see that from over here. I didn't even have to bring the camera in.
and really get a good idea for what's going on with the finish. And without the light, you're not going to be able to tell. So then you're going to take the car home, and then you bring it back. They can go, well, when it left here, it met your approval. You know, you should have pointed this out before you left. Well, you can't point it out if you can't see it. So invest in a $100 light, especially if you're going to detail your own car. You need one anyway. So you look for scratches, any kind of paint defects, holograms, just anything that is in there, because a brand new paint job should look brand new. It shouldn't have any problems at all. The next thing I would look for, which kind of falls into the category of scratches, would be holograms or micromarring. Now, holograms are a specific scratch pattern inflicted by a rotary only. Orbitals, Porter cables, tools like this, they don't put in holograms, they put in micromarring. So look to see if it has holograms from the misuse of a rotary, or look to see if it's got holograms from the use of an orbital with sub-quality abrasive technology. So not all abrasive technology is good. A lot of the stuff on the market that I've tested just by itself scratches paint. So if a dealer is buying a cheap compound polish or cleaner wax and buffing this with a foam pad and an orbital, which is a safe tool and a safe pad, the abrasive technology can be leaving micromarring, and you're not going to see it without a good light, especially on lighter colors, okay? And the only way to fix holograms and micromarring is to completely repolish the entire car over again. So it's a lot of work. So look for that before you take delivery of the car. Then you also want to look for wheel and tire rash. This car here, this truck here, there's a couple places it looks like the tires were curbed, but not the rims. But I have seen brand new cars where they got were damaged to the rim itself, okay, from somebody parking it too close to a concrete curb. And wheels nowadays are really expensive. And tires are cosmetical. If you get curb rash on those, it's not going to look good. It probably won't hurt the performance of the tire. But you want to inspect for tire and wheel rash. So the next thing you want to do is you want to look for overspray or any kind of surface contamination. Now, in order to do this, you really need to be packing a little detail kit, but you would take, this is a waterless wash, prep spray, and a clean microfiber towel, and of course you'd want to clean the section, and hopefully they won't challenge you on this. I've never done this, but this is what I would do. Then you want to do the baggie test, okay? Take a sandwich baggie, and then just lightly fill that area you clean. And you should usually test places like the hood, the roof, or the trunk lid, the horizontal surfaces where things in the air, overspray paint land on and then bond to the paint. And look, it's possible to buy a brand new car and have it be horribly contaminated. Okay, so now think about it. In your hometown, when you're driving around, you see all the new car dealership lots. All the cars are parked outside, usually by a heavy traffic road. So they have what's called traffic pollution. So every time someone hits their brakes, you got brake dust coming off the rotors and the pads. Tires are wearing down, you got rubber dust, you got exhaust fuel, you got dirt in the air, you got just normal industrial air pollution, and it's all landing on these cars as they sit there waiting for you to come by and buy one. They usually have what they call a lot car wash, that they farm this out to, and these guys come by like in a little mini truck with a pressure washer, and they just blast all the cars. Really, they don't really hit them in the mitts, they just blast them, but sometimes they wash them, and again, if their mitts are contaminated, they're scratching them up. But anyway, back to the overspray. These cars are sitting outside, and chances are they're going to be contaminated. Not a big deal, but it means when you get your brand new car, you got to wash it, clay it, and then polish it and wax it. So those are things just to consider. Over here, Yancey told me to check mileage, and mileage is something you can't check. That just means they took your car out for a road trip, but that shouldn't have too much to do with the appearance of it unless they damaged it while they were out driving it. And then stained plastic trim. So this truck here has these huge plastic flares around the fenders, and on the passenger side there's one area where the plastic is actually white. So whatever they were using to compound or polish the side of the bed, they got it onto the trim. And the problem with that is, and I got this all taped off, but The term for this is called pebble textured plastic trim. And if you look at it, it has like a pebble texture. It's ingrained. And what happens when you get a compound or a polish in there is it impacts into the little tiny crevices, and it can be almost impossible to get out 100%. And so now for the rest of your lives, you own the car, that trim is stained. Of course, you can buy products like Solution Finish that will re-dye it and then put a dressing over it, and that'll Band-Aid, it'll fix it. But you shouldn't have to fix a brand new car. They should have been like me. If they're going to buff it out, tape it off and protect the trim. It takes minutes to tape off trim. It takes, a lifetime of looking at ugly stain trim. Tagwa. So does everybody out there know what Tagwa is? T-O-G-W? Tagwa is a term I coined years ago, and it stands for the other guy's wax. So a lot of times when I'm detailing cars, I find compound polish and wax or sealant stuck into emblems and around trim or on trim. I didn't put it there, but if I'm detailing the car, when the owner picks it up, he's not going to know that I didn't put it there. He'll think I put it there because now he's seeing it. So not only do I got to remove all my splatter, I got to remove the other guy's splatter or the other guy's wax. So it's called Tagwa. So that's something else I would look for. So in case something happened to the car from the time it left the assembly line to the time it got to the dealer's showroom floor, if they've had to do any work inside all the cracks and crevices around emblems, be looking for wax or compound or polish splatter. Let's see, the other thing on my list is coating high spots.
This one has it. Here, let me get the...
This is crazy. I took my crayon. Here, let me show my little crayon trick. This is, I call the crayon hack. And I wish I didn't have to use the crayon hack, but so many people bring me cars that just have defects everywhere. And let's look at the, tell me if I'm holding the whole...
Come up a little bit. Right there. You can see it right on the gas.
You can see where they wiped it. And it's everywhere you see a circle is coating high spots. Big old line of coating high spots. And so what I do when I inspect a car that's got a lot of damage, what I do is I take one of the big old fatty crayons out of here, and I grab my light and I go around and I just carefully, don't push hard, but just mark everything. And the reason for that is so when I come back, I know not to miss it, because there's nothing like detailing a whole car and then inspecting and go, oh crap, I missed some stuff. So pre-mark all the defects if you want to make sure you get them out 100%. And of course with the crayon crayons you get different colors. Like I had a yellow Cuda in here with DA sanding marks everywhere, so I took a black crayon and circled all those. I had a blue 1960 Volkswagen bus, same thing, DA sanding marks everywhere, so I just went through and marked them all, but that's called the crayon hack. Let's see, what else do I got on my board here?
The notorious one that they're for.
Oh, this is horrible. And dealerships are notorious for this. They put this greasy, slimy, silicone, oily tire dressing on your tires.
And your engine bay.
Because it makes it look black, but now you're the person that's got to try to get that crap off there. And then sometimes they put it on the engine bay. And I tell you, if I bought a brand new car and someone took one of them aerosols, plastic trim restores and sprayed that all over the place, I'd be pissed. Because it was perfectly fine the way it was. And when you add that to an engine compartment, it's usually sticky, so now it becomes a dust magnet. And when you do go to clean it, it's going to be difficult and take longer because you got this greasy film holding all the dirt onto the engine. So look at the tires and look at the engine compartment and also the trim. There's some good trim restorers out there and dressings. But again, a lot of times dealerships, they just buy the cheapest stuff and just wipe it on the trim, wipe it on the tires, spray the engine compartment, and now your car's all jacked up. Years ago, when I worked for Meguiar's, up in Oregon, one of my primary jobs was to call on body shops, dealerships, and detail shops. And here's how I've always explained to people. I loved calling on body shops. You know why? Because the guys in the body shops are usually true professionals. And if you can show them a product that'll let them do their job faster with better results, maybe even cost less money, they're willing to listen, they're willing to learn. But what I found out about calling on detail shops is a lot of times, and this is back before the internet when I was doing this, but a lot of times these guys are self-taught. They learned everything through trial and error. And you show up and say, hey, I can show you some cool products. So they built this wall around them. So sometimes they're hard to get into that door of the ego. And then dealerships. I never like to call on dealerships because dealerships, all they want is stuff that's cheap in bulk.
Bottom
gallons, 5 gallons, 55-gallon drum of tire dressing, cheap. And that's their mentality. And the next guy that comes along and has something cheaper, they're not even brand loyal. They'll switch to that. So that's kind of the problem with the whole greasy tire thing is dealerships who want stuff that's really cheap, and that's what you get. So you got to tell them, don't put that stuff on my car. Anyway, so this car it's got swirls in the plastic that need to come out. It's got high spots, and it's got holograms on the paint, and all these.
Run your light down the side, because I can see it from here. Oh yeah, now just go down the side. I mean, just look at how bad this is, people.
The holograms actually they go all the way to here.
I got them.
They're not as bad down here, but they're pretty bad down there. And anyway, so I've already detailed this entire truck except for this side of the bed. So I've already nailed everything. So that means I've also done test spots and dialed in what it takes. And so what it took was the NSP 150 to pull out the holograms of the foam cutting pad on a powerful gear-driven orbital. Then I think I did a finish polish with 95 and a polishing pad, and then it's ready to coat. The taillights, the plastics actually was pretty hard on this, at least that or the scratches are deep, because usually taillights clean up pretty easily, but I found myself taking the blue foam cutting pad, the Beast, and I was pushing on that thing and buffing for a while to get those scratches out. So I fixed the other one. I haven't fixed this one here yet. And then the coating high spots. So coatings, I have no idea what they put on here, but a polish with a foam polishing pad removed 100% of it.
So it wasn't that strong.
Well, sometimes you hear about some coatings, the only way to remove is a sand them off. So at least that one is not this bad. And
you wouldn't know about that.
Oh man! Hey, I've looked high spots before, and usually where I leave them, Yancey, is the little curves around the door handles, the little indents. Yeah, a lot of times I come back out the next day and I find that, I didn't quite wipe into the tight areas. The big area is pretty good, but the tight areas, intricate areas, a lot of times you see it looks like polish splatter and you go to wipe and it don't come off. It's a coating high spot. So, but that comes back to having a great light, and then of course taking your time. The problem with myself and a lot of detailers is when you get to the coating part, you probably got a full day of work into it and you're tired.
You're tired, you just want to get done, then you rush.
So, if you can, rest up before you put the coating on. Okay, so you want me to kind of just demonstrate how I'd fix some of these
Sure,
things?
let's go to this cam right here and let's do this, shall we?
Let me grab a piece of tape. That way we can see a before and after for the holograms. And holograms, there's actually an acronym for this. It's called DISO, the Dealer Installed Swirl Option.
If you're a dealer watching this, we're sorry. We're not really picking on you, but we are.
Okay. You never asked for it, but you got it anyway. Okay. Tell you what, I'll just put a piece of tape right here, and I'm going to show you. So there's holograms all through here, and then here are coating high spots. Can you see those?
Yeah, I'm coming in. Hold on. Oh yeah, right there.
All along there, and then look at can you see the swirls in the plastic?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here we got plastic scratches, we got coating high spots, and we've got holograms. So let me go ahead and fire up the Beast. And grab some NSP 150. I have these squeeze bottles up here. Dr. Beasley's is, we do as much as we can to be a green company. And so one of the things we've done, we're going completely away from our packaging of plastic tubes to pouches, to bags. And they collapse, they don't fill up landfills, they disintegrate faster. Okay, Yancey, I'm gonna move this just a little bit.
You're moving the set now, Army. All right, which side you going on?
I'm gonna get on this side so you can be over there.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put a little over here too. Again, I'm going to have to work on this because I think those scratches are pretty deep. Someone just, by the way, called me up and asked me, Mike, what speed do you use the Beast on? It's always on the 6. Okay. And I'm going to jump over here and do a little polishing. And notice how I get no pad stalling. That's one of the reasons I like this. Gear driven, I can push hard, I can abrade fast, I can get the job done quick. Okay, let's wipe that off and check it out.
Here's your light.
Thank you, Spanky. Okay, can you pick up the holograms? We'll start with the ugly first.
Go down, like when you're shining up, it shows better. And move the light away from the pane a little bit. There you go. Okay. Now go across towards me. Towards me. Nope, that's away from me. There you go. That's bad. Okay, there's the bad. And go to the good. And there's the good.
And I can't see what that looks like from your point of view. Does that look good? Oh, yeah, totally clear. Now you can see that metal flake. It's a poppin', as people like to say. And that's from our NSP 150. That's not even a finishing polish. Now let's check out the plastic. I still got some work to do on plastic, but huge difference. Huge freaking difference. And all the high spots are gone. Okay, so anyway, you know, look, it's not a catastrophe when a dealership jacks up your car. It can be fixed, but you know, to redo a car like this, you're looking at an entry-level price of anywhere. The prices for detailing are all over the place. You know, I know people that live in small towns where you just can't get a lot of money for a detail, and I know people that live in metropolitan areas that get super big bucks. But I would say a low for an exterior detail only with coating, a low would be $1,500, and a high would be around $3,000. So you know, if you pick up a car like this, and it's going to have to be completely redetailed, just keep that in mind. That's the cost factor. Now, also think about this. If you go into the dealership the next day and go, you know, Jim, well, sorry, Jim, I always use Jim as just the throwaway name, but since that's the guy that knows the company, I need to use Bob. Okay, look, Bob, I got the car home last night, and I noticed all these holograms. Here's the problem with taking it back to the dealership to get it fixed. So think about it. If they couldn't do it right the first time.
Do you think they're going to do it right the second?
Yeah, so here's the question I asked. If they couldn't do it right the first time, what's changed? Okay, did they got a new guy, a new tool, different chemicals, foam pads? What's changed? And the answer is probably nothing. So if nothing's changed, the same guy or someone else on the detailing team is going to take the same stuff and redo the car. You're just going to get the same problem. And
probably worse too.
Well, they're going to take
compounding.
They're going to take off more paint needlessly. Okay, and then I know in the body shop world, I mean, I started typing about this problem back 25 years ago. In a body shop, you know, they don't use any waxes or sealants or coatings. You can't use anything in a body shop that causes water beading or surface tension. So they use glazes like 3M Imperial hand glaze, Meguiar's show car glaze.
Oh, now you're dating yourself.
Yeah, they got no silicone. They won't seal the paint. So what'll happen is they'll fix a fender, they'll paint it, they'll sand it, they'll buff it. It's all hologrammed out. You take it back to the body shop and go, hey, you know, Bob, you did a great job fixing it, but look at all these scratches in here. They're holograms. And they go, oh, leave it here, we'll fix it. And then what they do is they put a glaze over it. You know, it masks it, it hides it. You wash it a few times, the glaze washes off because it's not water, it's water soluble. And then you're back to the same problem. And again, it kind of goes back to, look, if they couldn't do it right the first time, what's changed that they can do it right the second time?
Nothing.
So that's where you need to let the dealership know, hey, I'm taking this to an outside detailer and you're paying for it.
I agree.
But it all starts with inspecting it before you take the keys and drive it home. You got to get it done right then and there. You know, and for the kind of money you're spending, have some tools with you. Have a swirl finder light. Have a baggie. Have a clean towel. You know, walk around and look at the wheels and tires. Check everything out.